I'm Willem Dafoe, and I play the character of X in New Rose Hotel. It was like a 9-page story. Um, but Abel, works with fragments, and then he gets to a place, and then he fleshes them out. He had some very specific ideas about the characters, and I think he cast it well. So it was really about we had a very rough idea about what happened, what would have to happen in the scenes. And then, of course, he let us go, and there was a certain degree of uh, improvisation in it, I suppose. I was playing the scenes, I was doing the actions, I had some expectations, but they're all impacted by the world. So you enter the world, and the world works on you, and something happens. Because we were working in a very loose way, and the situation was very clear. I mean, uh, this guy's a corporate spy, and he sets up this woman to seduce this guy, but in the process of kind of training her, he falls in love with her. So that's a pretty simple story, and it was just about being there and exploring that kind of relationship. It was great. I mean, I think it was really good casting. Chris Walken, I love. Since we were working very loose, he's excellent at, he's very playful, he's very witty, so he's a lot of fun. He has a great sense of humor, and he plays kind of a world weary guy that's a little cynical, so it was perfect. He's a wonderful person. He's very generous as an actor, and I always feel bad when people kind of pigeonhole him into being an oddball or being very eccentric. And I get his performing is very particular, but he's an extremely he's never given credit for how flexible he is and how often in scenes he's able to mix the dramatic with the comic, and he's very fluid that way. So I loved working with him, and he took care of me. So that was good. Asia, I think this may be one of her best roles. She was at a very good place to do this movie, I thought. She was probably 23 years old. She had a kind of, she could switch hit, which was important for the role, that she could be very kind of innocent and seductive and gentle, and then she could be very tough. So she was able to have that facility to be in those two modes, which was really important for her character. I love shooting in New York, and one of the great things about New York is, the great things about Abel is New York is his town. Now Rome is his town, but New York is very much his town, and he works very well with very little. And this movie, as it's proposed, it's a globe-trotting film. So we're really doing a lot of globe-trotting, finding other sources to kind of uh, accommodate that and make the world bigger than it is. But in New York, we're pretty comfortable, and we're using the city pretty well. New York's a character in the movie. Working with Abel's always an adventure. And one of the great things about him is sometimes his preparation is sketchy, but he knows very well what he wants. And when he gets someplace, he's a master at using what's there. And I think I find that lacking sometimes in some filmmakers, that they have an idea, and then when they get someplace, they're inflexible and they get stymied they can't marry their expectation with the reality of what they're doing. Where Abel is pretty fluid, and it's always an adventure to work with him because he's pretty resourceful, and he has a beautiful sense of film language, and he pushes it. He pushes it, and I like that. The film was quite chaotic in a funny way in its production, and he was using a lot of non-actors in the smaller roles. But I always kind of enjoy that because they bring a different kind of energy and a different kind of authenticity sometimes that actors can't bring. So it was wild and woolly, but good. New Rose, in terms of how New Rose Hotel fits in with the other work that I've done with Abel, it was the beginning, and we were getting to know each other. Um, Abel was still in New York mode. He hadn't moved to Rome yet. And I've done the majority, while I have worked with him um, another time on a movie called 444 Last Day on Earth here in New York. I think everything else was shot in Rome that I've done with him, or at least shot in Europe or Mexico, or not in New York. So that was significant. And also, the guy had certain, changes in his life that basically, as a filmmaker, he was the same guy, but he was a little more concentrated and collaborative. Still wild and woolly and yelling at people and hugging them at the same time. He's a very warm character, and he's very passionate about what he does. And he really, outside of taking care of his family, he lives and breathes, tries to get his cinema projects going, and I like it so much. He's a self-starter. So when I get in a room with him, he's always figuring out where he can engage, where he can contribute, where he can get that feeling again, where he can use film language again. I mean, he could be in this place and he'd be like, oh, he would see shots right now, and that's fun to be with someone that's so inspired and so dedicated.